Hello, my name is Dalton Griffin. I am an aviation operations specialist in the U.S. Army. This is your trigger warning. This is a very difficult topic. Um, Most likely, I am going to become very emotional speaking about it. I ask that those of you that can watch this will watch it and give me some feedback on it. But if you can't, again, this is basically your trigger warning. At the end of this presentation, there's going to be a song linked in my comments. It tackles the issues that I'm going to be speaking about and puts them in a different light than maybe I can. Again, I'm about to start. Thank you. On January 9th, 2018, I arrived at Fort Benning, Georgia. I was scared. I had just left my family that morning, and although I was very scared, I was also very proud. I was very proud of why I was there. I knew why I was there, and I wasn't going to go home until I had graduated. While I was there at Fort Benning for 10 weeks. I made many friends in the platoon. Among these friends was a guy named Joshua Holzhauser. I didn't even know his name was Joshua until a few days before we graduated, when we all told everyone our first names. Everybody liked him. He was very, very, very intelligent. He was actually, once he got done with basic training, he was going to go on to his AIT, his advanced individual training, to become a electronic warfare, or start working with electronic warfare, and which is a very, very difficult thing to get into. Within the state of Illinois, there's only two. It's very difficult. So 10 weeks after we got there, we all went our separate ways. I was at AIT. Everyone else went to their AITs as well. Mine was only 8 weeks. It was one of the shortest ones you can have. And his, on the other hand, was, I believe, almost a year or a year and a half long. Days before he graduated AIT, Holzhauser put the barrel of his M4 underneath his head and pulled the trigger. This is just one example of how mental illnesses are running rampant throughout the United States, but they are hitting the U.S. military especially hard. There are 330 million people living in the United States today. 21.2 million of those are classified as military or veterans. There are 129 Americans that commit suicide every day. 22 of those 129 are veterans or currently serving. Every year, 47,173 people in the United States die from suicide. Of those, 8,030 are veterans or active military. 0.01% of the United States population commits suicide every year. 0.04% of all veterans and active duty members commit suicide every year. Veterans and active duty military take up 6% of the United States population, yet they're 17.2% of all suicides. And my question is just why? And I don't even know why I ask why. It's simple. According to the Job Network, USA Today, the New York Times, Forbes, US News, and over 25 other magazines and newspapers that I read that were listing the most stressful jobs in America, listed the United States military number one. And their rankings showed that it was not close. According to these same articles, the United States military is not only the most stressful job in America, but among the most stressful job in the world. But it's not that difficult to understand why. We're trained that no matter what, broken bones, tear gas, other forms of gas, pulled or torn muscles, even gunshot wounds, we keep going. Why would something in our heads stop us from moving forward? We do our jobs. We don't do it to be thanked. We do it because somebody has to, and we believe we're the best people for it. Overseas, we do our jobs better than anyone in the world, but it doesn't stop there. We come home to our friends and family, but once we come home, we're never really home. Parts of us, and when I say us, I mean myself, my generation, the generation before me, and before that, going back to even Korea or any World War II guys that are left. Parts of us are left in the sands, the streets, and the jungles of countries that most people don't even know exist. The dreams, the flashbacks, the memories, they haunt us for the rest of our lives. There are hundreds, if not thousands of groups here within the United States that wait for us to come home, that are working with us, that are really doing everything they can to help. Among these groups is one called Hire Heroes. They ensure that men and women that come home have jobs waiting for them. They essentially only hire veterans, and that's their goal in life. Another one is called Operation Homefront. It provides food, shelter, clothing, auto and home repair, transportation, and financial assistance to those coming home. You may not know it, but poverty runs rampant through the veteran community and through the military. Unfortunately, even great organizations like this can't stop the terrible suicide rates among veterans and other members of the active duty military. They need more than just an organization waiting for them. When my grandpa came home from Vietnam, he was spat on and called a baby killer. When, as like he said, he only fired his gun a few times, and he doesn't even think he hit anything. A smile or a hello will do more to make the burden so much smaller than anything else you could ever say or do. 22 per day is far too many, when 1 per day is far too many. One of the things you learn at basic training is called the Soldier's Creed. This is essentially the oath that soldiers live by. Within the Soldier's Creed, there's the 4 Army values. The final Army value is, I will never leave a fallen comrade. All 44 of us that left basic training, 2nd Platoon, Bravo 247, failed Joshua Holzhauser. He was falling, and we left. We broke the creed. The next few days were some of the hardest days of my life. Now, every time that I see a battle buddy, which is the term that we all call each other, whenever I see a battle buddy on the news, on Facebook, or anything, fall, whether at home or abroad, part of me goes with them. To everyone, Holzhauser was a soldier. To many, he became a statistic. But to me, and the 44 other guys in my platoon, he was a friend. He was one of us. And I'm going to live the rest of my life fighting for those who just don't feel like they can fight anymore. Again, my name is Dalton. Thank you.